Kia ora mai tātou. Ka mihi atu ki o tātou. Hui mai nei ki te tautoko te kaupapa o tā rā. Tuatahi ka mihi atu ki o tātou kaihanga. Nāna nei te whakaotinga, nāna nei te timatanga o ngā mea katoa. Ka mihi hoki ki o tātou tini mati. Ko wihi atu ki te tua te ārai, i ngā mati haere atu rā. Ka mihi atu ki te mana whenua o tēnei rōpū, the Kulin Nation, tēnei te mihi ki a tangata, ki mua, ki muri, tēnei te mihi ki a koutou. Ka mihi hoki ki ngā tangata hoa o te Makmak Marangungu tribe, tēnei te mihi ki a kōrua, tēnā kōrua o tērā hiri no me koutou katoa, tēnei te mihi, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. So just briefly, bit of an explanation of what I've just talked about. It's just mainly acknowledging the atua for his guidance and support to our ancestors who provide us the wisdom and knowledge to go forward. The Kulin Nation, the traditional owners of this land, both present and past, and also to you all for coming along today. So kia ora. We're going to talk about our project, Building Resilience in Indigenous Communities through engagement. But before I go into that, just want to acknowledge support and guidance of two very important people. One pictured here is Kathy Kunta Jaka, who provided a lot of the information that you will see in the models that we've developed, and also Matua Grant Hawke for his guidance and wisdom in helping us develop the Māori Indigenous engagement model. Why do we need engagement with Indigenous communities? And it's quite logical, really. Johan mentioned that a lot of these incursions aren't occurring in the cities. Most of them do occur in the rural areas of our countries, both here and in New Zealand. So what we need to do is be talking to and engaging the people where these incursions are occurring. This is the objective or the aim of our project. And essentially it's all about involving the communities in biosecurity and being able to have a conversation with them. It's not a lecture, it's about having this two-way dialogue, learning from them, especially with the Aboriginal nation. They've been here for thousands of years. So they've survived somehow, so there's knowledge harboured there that we could definitely use to take us forward in overcoming some of these diseases that we are currently faced with. So a lot of you would have seen the two models that we've developed. So the one on your left is the Māori engagement model, and the one on the right is the Aboriginal model. What we've done is use the analogy of the cycad nut here and the karaka nut back home in New Zealand. Both of them are highly toxic if consumed unprocessed. So there is a process, a traditional process that is used to detoxify the nut to make them safe to eat. There's no shortcuts that can be taken when processing the nuts. If you do take shortcuts, it could be hazardous to your health. So, and that's the same with engagement. What we tend to do is try and fast track things. We've operated in a fly in, fly out sort of sphere over the years, but what we need to do is start spending time with the people, with the communities that we're looking to engage. And this model here has clearly stepped out those important steps when engaging the Indigenous communities, both here and in New Zealand.
Thanks, Alby. Okay, I'm Linda Ford, and the extension program was quite a process across Australia, and we held a number of workshops to deliver the Commonwealth Milestones as part of our project, and I believe that two of those Commonwealth Milestones were for our project only in the whole of the PBCRC. So I think we're very proud that our team have met those milestones on behalf of the PBCRC, and there they are, providing ongoing refinement and rollout support to regional Indigenous communities and nearby neighbours, which is PNG, in one of our hotspots of biosecurity in the Torres Strait Islands. And there are about 160 islands that can make up the Torres Straits, for those of you that don't know our Australian geography. So the biosecurity team and NARCs do a great job up there in the Torres Strait, and we'll tell you a bit more about that when Chloe gets up to talk about that. So we've implemented some tools that Alby's introduced you to, and we've taken that around to our sites in the communities in remote locations across Western Australia, Northern Territory and Queensland, and the deployment of at least 4 community engagement applications completed and maintenance and support provided as required. So since August last year, I've been absolutely flat out delivering those models with Chloe as my offsider, and Alby through our webinars and teleconferences with a number of the people. There's quite a few of you that took part in some of the workshops that are part of the conference here. All in all, we had about 200 people that participated in the webinars and workshop seminars. The project was extended until March 2018, and we endured cyclones and all of that up in the north. So we were able to continue on with our work to deliver those milestone outcomes. The Indigenous Reference Group was set up, the Indigenous Industry Advisory Network, Stakeholder Advisory Network, and we also were able to set up the International Indigenous Advisory Network through the International Plant Science Workshop. We had some Fijian representatives come across in biosecurity and set up networks with us. Alby and I have both been over to Honolulu and Hawaii and set up networks with Indigenous Plant Conservancy and biosecurity people over there. The Indigenous Rangers across Australia, that's quite a big network of Indigenous people working as rangers, supporting through doors, and they've been really quite helpful. The case studies adapt the model of the peacetime management model that you saw on the board before, and as part of the feedback from the participants, we also developed a rapid response time model as well. And we're in the process now of designing and developing the manual and with the guidelines for people to use that. There are training modules for the Ranger program, a Certificate 4 about biosecurity, and the model is embedded in that module. We focused on champions and calling upon members of the public to be champions of the model, and also people in biosecurity and in government agencies. emphasis on relationship building, especially during the rapid response time. The survey results champions improved cross-sectoral relationships. The model will be best implemented through partnership and extension activities, etc. So one of the important things of that, of course, is to adapt to other biosecurity issues and management and shared responsibilities. We had a lot of people tell us at workshops that our focus was too narrow on plants, and that it should have been extended across to beef, aquaculture, fisheries. So, and they said that they were quite happy to take on the model. So that was really good impact for us. The inclusion, just quickly, you'll be able to read a lot of those things there, but the point that I want to focus on is point 4 about the adoption into the Torres Strait Islander Biosecurity Strategic and Operational Plan for 2018 to 2023. Ron Granville invited myself and Chloe Ford to the Torres Strait Islander 3-day workshop, and in that I will hand over to Chloe to tell a bit about that story. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and good morning, everyone. So, yes, my name's Chloe, and I'm very new to biosecurity. If you asked me what biosecurity was last year, I would have looked at you and thought you made the word up. But so I had the privilege of attending a biosecurity workshop in the Torres Straits, and that was amazing. We delivered the model, and to see the look on people's faces when you deliver something like this in an Indigenous language that they can relate to was absolutely incredible. They looked at it and they looked at us and they said, this makes sense. This is what we need. But I guess attending the workshop and looking at how they look at biosecurity in such a unique area, looking at the threats that they face from the north, but also how they manage threats that come up from the Australian mainland was absolutely incredible. And learning about the government agencies and their different roles and responsibilities in the case of a biosecurity threat or an incursion. So that was incredible, and I guess as we develop the training manual and write our papers, it's about how we look at the model and look at how we've engaged with the communities and bringing all the different knowledges together. We've been from Darwin to the Torres Strait. A few weeks ago we were in Canberra, and now we're here. So it's a pretty unique process, and yeah, that's what I've got to say.
Thank you, Chloe. So the impacts. So there's some of the impacts that we've had. So across Australia in beef and fisheries and aquaculture, Department of Primary Industries, in Indonesia and in South Australia, a women's group have taken up the model to disseminate across their networks. Recent incursions in the Northern Territory, citrus canker, myrtle rust in New Zealand, and the rotting melon paddock in paddocks in WA have been issues that we've been talking to plant biosecurity people about, biosecurity people, government and communities. And these are some of the select testimonials. I believe that Alby wanted to read out the Richard Palmer's. Do you want to read that or not? So these, we've got a couple here. The one that I really want to read out is the one from Ron Glanville. I've been working with agencies and communities in the Torres Strait region since August 2016 to improve biosecurity and management systems. I've particularly focused on developing a better partnership approach to preventing and managing new pest incursions. As an outsider, I found this daunting at first and not really knowing how to best engage with these communities. I have since learned a great deal, and the Indigenous engagement model was a key element in the approach that I've used. The principles within the model were incorporated into the design of a series of scenarios, planning workshops that I facilitated in the 6 local communities, and these were very successful. I congratulate the Building Resilience in Indigenous Communities through Engagement project team for the work that they have done in this area. And really, thanks to Ron for inviting us up there. So the end users to date, who uses the model, and there's a list of those people. We've got land councils involved, we've got community people involved, we've got government involved, we've got all sorts of industry people that are individuals that are involved. It would be nice to get some more industry people involved in this process. The future directions, explore other opportunities, and these are some of the things that we've come up with for the rapid response time. Identifying champions within communities. The next step is that we, other Indigenous groups in the Asia Pacific Partnership, we're looking at building on. So we're looking for funding elsewhere to extend our networks and using peer-based learning and support industry partners, and I'm looking for Australian Research Council linkage grant with partner industry representatives, and we're hoping that we'll be able to continue doing this work. That plant biosecurity is engaged Indigenous people in for the first time. So thank you to Plant Biosecurity CRC. We really appreciate that initial step to engage Indigenous people. Thank you.